In 1987, a graduate of Howard University and nurse practitioner founded Mnisaa, a health and social services organization with a mission for caring for underserved and uninsured women and children.
Asma Hanif was first inspired by her grandmother, who worked as what she calls a maid slave for a physician in the South. Now, Asma has no memory of her grandmother ever sleeping, just working. But when her grandmother developed a lump in her stomach, the physician, the one for whom she worked sun up to sundown, told her, "Don't worry about it. It'll never amount to anything." That lump was cancer, and it killed Asma's grandmother. That experience inspired Asma to become an advanced practice nurse. And while in college at Howard University, she found Islam. And during her hospital training, she witnessed many Muslim women patients experiencing discrimination.
Being a helper of the underprivileged came with its own personal challenges. One of them was becoming homeless.
That I didn't want to just be someone who looked at life as if, you know what, this was going to get the best of me. So I found a building that no one was in, and I went inside with me and my children. I cleaned it up. I decorated with, whatever I could find from thrift stores or whatever I had on my U-Haul. And I decided that I would live there.
When Asma Hanif was able to get back on her feet as she continued serving women in the medical capacity, she learned that many of these sisters were dealing with conditions that no human being should be alone to deal with.
She realized that they needed much more than medical care. They were also dealing with homelessness and domestic violence and inadequate education.
And the story she heard over and over again was that the communities in Masjid would turn these women away, and even worse, sometimes point them right back to abusive places where they had tried to escape from.
Asma established a shelter for Muslim women, including domestic abuse survivors. And in this home, they don't have to worry if the food is cooked in accordance with their religious commitments, because it is. And they don't have to worry that people will understand their need for modesty in prayer, because they do. This place is not just a shelter, it's a home.
This is Aisha's first Ramadan in America. She came here 4 months ago with her 2-year-old daughter from Pakistan to live with her husband. Having suffered abuse from him, today she lives at a homeless shelter for Muslim women.
They broke 3 of my teeth. I was left for dead. I am all alone, almost like an orphan. I don't believe there is any justice in this world. Nobody wants to give you a chance to live.
As a child, Malika often saw her father abusing her mother. When it happened to her, she left her 6-year-old daughter with her mother and fled to the shelter.
I come from a family of abuse, and I guess I adapted to accepting abuse as well. I never even told my mom that my daughter's father abused me. This is my first time saying it out loud.
These stories are not new to Asma Hanif, who runs the shelter. She keeps trying to make this place into a home.
See, I refuse to treat someone as if they're homeless. I want to provide for them in much the same way as anybody would want to be provided for. And so being here is no different than would be in their own home.
One of the more surprising and challenging aspects of sheltering Muslim women was the marginal support from the greater Muslim community. Asma Hanif would watch as million-dollar domes would be funded by masjids, who would then, barely if at all, support the efforts of the shelter. Only by the mercy of God and the few heroes in the community who have supported have doors been able to remain open. Though she shouldn't have to, today, Asma still works tirelessly, barely sleeping, just like her grandmother did, lobbying and fundraising to make sure the neglected Muslim women and children are cared for.
I am nobody, but I'm afraid that on the day of judgment, God will say to me, "One of my servants came to you, and you turned them away." So for all of her hard work and for making sure that no one is turned away, Asma is our foot soldier of the week.
Though the journey has been long and arduous, through overcoming the death of her grandmother and mother and surviving homelessness, Asma has continued to serve for over 30 years. Whether aiding the sick, feeding the marginalized, or sheltering the homeless, whether continuing her education to educate others and speak from both knowledge and experience, Asma continues to fight for the people few will fight for, and she needs your help now.